wrote so many notes, it's got to be part 2 here. Dark night of the soul for humanity. So maybe some C60 fullerene or ES fullerene supplement would be a good stocking stuffer for your friend, your loved ones who took the mad scientist's mass experiment. Um, when I studied Osho, I thought about how he was thinking about God at all the time, and how I could just tell. Of course, he suffered from this guru syndrome, but he knew a lot of wonderful scriptures from a bunch of different mystic traditions that very few other people studied, and he would share these stories or wonderful stories. But the M1, letting the M1 family member Sheila run the community for a few years was the tragic move, and so part of the awakening is to kick out the Sheilas in your life if you can. I mean, to peacefully figure out. Ever since I've been in this town, I discovered that I would usually find a Illuminati type person or someone of that behavior in every clique, and they would always do a somewhat often fairly good job of convincing terrifying or coercing the other people to not trust me or be my friend or help me. The thing about the mafia that I noticed also is that there's always a peacemaker in every club, every clique, and I never knew whether to hate them for upholding the old world or to respect them for holding it in peace. So peace is a really important thing. If we don't have peace, what do we have? Chaos, war. Okay. So I see that this learned helplessness causes all this strife and war. Because if I'm a baby and I have to receive it from you, if I can't do my work, then I'm not a full human, a man. However, if I had the courage to work on my soul's mission, which is this, and bring it into this world of technology, which is the Luciferic, the Babylon numbers. Okay. We all have to learn how to take responsibility eventually, man. And, the killer in me is the killer in you. Until we never obey what they say to do and realize that dependency is one of the archonic deceptions, but projection is a far more prevalent one. Since people are willing to be slaves for their pleasures of their loved ones, their box, or their masters, their habits, they could work their ass off, but they're going to be a racist or project their fear onto someone. So we have to learn to let go of all these alien behaviors, is what it comes down to. What if Pierre Sabac's assertion in his work is true, that the aliens have built our so-called civilization. And that's why it's barbaric. So how do we change that? Well, we go back to what being a real Christed human is like. It's respectful, peaceful, laid back, helpful. So my cousin Andy said to me years ago, just in the sense because he perceived, he makes a lot of money with two grown children and a wife, and the perception that and he has a high IQ, but he's more of a mechanically talented, gifted mind. And his perception that I was, you know, not doing well materially, he told me, you need to compartmentalize. Perhaps he didn't realize that everything that's ever happened to me or that I've ever agreed to has been a part of my spiritual journey, and I was sometimes painfully aware of it. And my compartment is this. But on the other hand, my response to that 10 years later or 15 years later is all of you, everyone in the world who's not enlightened or born again or oneness conscious, you need to spiritually decompartmentalize. I want to take this moment to, I've been putting this off for a while, but I want to introduce route. Okay, here comes the surveillance. I might not do it now. But the re-one-ment of the outer urban terrestrial exterior is a completely non-hierarchical intention that I'm starting now. It's going to be a massively popular and fun, real unorganization. And it's called the re-one-ment because government organizations are all called the departments. And I'm not into, like I say, compartmentalization and pigeonholing and stereotyping and believing someone is their job or judging them by their money or what they do to get money. I'm into judging them by how I feel when I'm near them or how I can help them. Because if I judge that they're unwilling to be helped, then I'm not going to focus on them. It's not really judgment, it's observation. You see, the more you become awakened, the more judgment turns into observation. But if you're an egotistical, if you're a controlling person, you can be idiotically hypnotizing yourself into never figuring out the difference. That's where you have to really know discernment. Um, I'm a Scorpio with the Taurus and the Moon, according to when I moved to this town in the big rainstorm in November. So for almost over 19 years, it's given me some terribly tragic empathy for fixed zodiac signs. And it seems that this terrible demonic possession in the personality kind of goes with that, or being stuck in your habits. And I've learned what it's like to be unwilling to change and how that is just punishment to the self, especially now, and how fear prevents you from living. It's just blatantly obvious, okay? But like before, I was thinking about making this video when was rainstorming. The alien force came in, in the form of my so-called, subconscious anxiety, and I could feel the pressure, my heart beating, trying to scare me out of it. Okay, that happens to most of us, man. But like I said, when you realize it's just fake, false evidence appearing real will never be real. Okay, So dependency on others and projection are two of the biggest issues we got to work on. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. Um, but I'll tell you this, that I want you to be more like me in learning to be a lifelong learner. If you're not already, I mean, some of you are just, it's really like I have to whisper something in the top of the jar while I'm trying to pry the lid off because you won't listen at all, but just a tiny bit. You know, I know I've had an issue with that, but you know, we all have to learn to listen if we don't already know. And you see, the whole thing about it is the demiurge, the archons, and the Illuminati, the death cult, the scientism death cult, the mainstream media, the mainstream church, Christian church. They're all, and particularly more than anyone else ever, the Pope, all trying to be your middleman. And a whole lot of these teachers online, I'm not trying to be your middleman. I want you to subscribe and love on this content and tell me in the comments how you like it out of your own free will, out of the free sharing of information, out of the free sharing of my joy and my prayers for you. I want to expand this without deception, without subterfuge, without coercion. I'm not begging. I'm just saying I want you to help me expand this, but only if you feel like you want to. Uh, Helen Keller said, "Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all." Imagine that person and what they went through. Well, just like the Metallica video one, I have been in this fight, in this battle my entire life. And I never submit to the devil, although I might have been willing to assassinate my character for money. But in the end, it never works because I realize that the cliche, you know, what doesn't kill you, I use their tools against them. The reason why I call my little gadget play that is because that's what it is. It's not really complex. It's just simple. Everything I've been saying in these videos is just really obvious stuff. And there's a lot of antidotes to the Antichrist. There's a lot of ways to defuse all these attempts to hijack and take over your soul and bodies in this planet. But we have to work together and we have to learn from each other and we have to learn the techniques such as the ones I teach here and that other people teach. And we have to let go of the death cult idiot ideology and let go of the belief that these demonically possessed are actually authority, because you think about it, in the chakra system, your base chakra or your sexual organs is fight or flight. Snake is the animal. Okay? Snake is the animal of the base chakra, not this one. Okay, the age of Aquarius, the archetype is a man or a woman, a woman pouring water, a water bearer. Okay, I carry the water here to take my shaft every day. Okay, it's not the age of the reptiles. It's the age of awareness and respect and humanitarian peace and love. Happy solstice, family.